welcome to Low-sal-life. My name is Sarah, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. We talk about all sorts of things related to food intolerance and allergies, and specifically a sensitivity to salicylates, which are a natural aspirin compound found in mostly food, but it can be in cosmetics and cleaners, perfumes, medications, all sorts of places. So avoiding this chemical is very challenging, and some of us can only handle very, very tiny amounts of it. So it's the new year, we're still in January, people are still talking about what resolutions they want to make, and I have always been really against resolutions, and I think that this just has to do with, I see so many people start resolutions and then never do anything with them, and it just kind of makes me sad. I know that if I really want to do something, that I should be a little bit more passionate about it. I think people make resolutions that aren't really what they're interested in doing, right? Like eating healthier. They probably really don't want to eat healthy, and so that's, maybe not the best resolution. Like last year I said I want to get my Low-sal-life website up, and I worked my hiney off on it, and it's up, and that makes me so happy. If you haven't visited low-sal-life.com. So what I like to do in January, instead of making resolutions, I always like to look at the past year and do more of a retrospective look. What did I learn this last year? And today I'm going to talk with you 4 paradigm shifts that I've had over the last 4 years related to health and fitness. So maybe you guys can relate. I know if a lot of you guys who might have joined a low-sal diet, you may have had to go through this paradigm shift about what healthy looks like for you. And this isn't a catch-all for every single person. I don't believe in one true diet for all of humanity. This is what works for me, and so I just wanted to share that with you. So the first thing that I learned 4 years ago was that fat is not bad for me. And you guys have heard me talk about saturated fat. I use a lot of animal products. I don't care if it's animal products or if it's plant based or whatever. I think that us being taught for so many decades that fat is bad for us has just been detrimental to our health. Now, I'm not going to go into, this is an argument for fat, it's just my experience with it. Once I started adding fat, I was no longer hungry all the time. I did do keto. I do keto kind of about 6 months out of the year, and then the other 6 months I do a higher carb diet. But regardless if I eat more carbohydrates, I still eat a lot of fat. And for me personally, I stick with animal fats or saturated fats. I've had such great improvement in my health by switching to those fats, and I'm not hungry anymore like I was before. I've had some female reproduction things improve, which fat has cholesterol in it. Cholesterol is a key element in your body. If you're interested, there is a book called The Great Cholesterol Myth. It's fairly basic to read. It's not like super technical scientifically. You should be able to follow along with it. It's written by doctors for the general public. It's a really nice basic argument about how fat is good for us and how cholesterol is not necessarily detrimental to our health and to our heart health. And from there, they have a ton of resources. So if that is still not enough for you, you can dive in and look at a lot of those articles. So the second thing that I learned was that vitamins aren't good for me. And I'm not saying that this is not good for everybody. There are still vitamins that I can consume. Like, for example, I take an iron supplement, which I need to take for iron deficiency anemia. That has never really changed whether or not I was, eating low-sal or not. That's not something that's completely separate in my mind. So I used to suffer from migraines, and it improved dramatically when I went gluten-free. But when I went gluten-free, I also cut out fortified grains, and I didn't understand that. During that process, I also cut out soy milk and boxed milk, and I slowly whittled away a lot of different processed foods in that 12-year gluten-free journey. And what I realized at the very end of it is that I am actually not allergic to gluten or sensitive to gluten, but I am very sensitive to the folic acid that is added to most of the conventional wheat products. That's super crazy, but when you see things that say fortified or enriched, those to me are big, huge flags now, because those are migraine triggers for me. There's a lot of other different symptoms that people might be sensitive to. That I ended up getting this cold and I was sick for like maybe 2 or 3 months. It was the last time I had a cold. It was March 2017, I think. I had just started, I was at my newer job, and yeah, and I was so sick for weeks and months. And I went and had a vitamin B shot that my naturopath doctor had recommended, and the lab person asked if I did well with vitamin Bs, and I told her I didn't do very well. I'd always, get sick and kind of sick to my stomach and stuff like that. So she had mentioned, and this was the ticket. She said that like 40% of people have this MTHFR gene. Now, you can look it up. I'm not going to go into the details here, but basically there are I believe that there's snippets or 2 genes that code for this MTHFR. There's the dominant, there's the mixed, and there's the recessive versions. If you have recessive on either one of those, or if you're mixed for either one of those, you may have an issue with processing vitamin Bs. And this specifically is folic acid and B12s. So for me, I went into this journey of eliminating all of my B vitamins and my synthetic vitamin Bs, and I got so healthy. There was an entire year without a migraine. It was amazing. So now I am very, very wary about what vitamins I eat and consume, and if I do, I usually end up buying mixed, like individual vitamins, and then I kind of keep track of the calories and food that I consume. And then I get a good idea about what vitamins I might be missing in my everyday diet, and then I could supplement with that. And then I work with my doctor to make sure that my blood tests are normal and that I'm not having any weird symptoms from a vitamin deficiency. Especially with having a low-sal diet, you don't eat as many foods. One reason why I do eat keto and do eat a lot of animal products is, first of all, it's a very safe diet for me. Animal products are safe. They don't have salicylates in them, or they have very, very small amount of salicylates. Not only that, but they're so nutritionally packed. They're nutritionally dense foods, and so I feel confident that I'm getting the nutrients that my body needs. And those animals, which I'm grateful for, I'm basically outsourcing their nutrients. The nutrients they get from the greens, from the grass and leaves and whatever they're eating, they in turn provide nutrition for me. So that's something to think about as far as vitamins. But no fortified or enriched foods for me. That was just such a huge thing when people would be like, here, take this energy C or whatever, for immune boosting health. Just garbage. Don't listen to them. Really consider whether or not the vitamins are really helping you or actually maybe hurting you. Okay, the third thing that I realized was that fruits and vegetables are not good for me, period. And that's when I started my low-salicylate journey. I was blown away that this thing even existed, and I was also blown away that a few days in that my body was rapidly changing and healing once I started a low-salicylate diet. And I'm obviously very passionate about it, and the reason why is because I know that there's other people that are struggling just like me, and they have no idea about this. And I just want to make sure that those resources are available to them if they're ever curious. And thank you so much for all the wonderful messages. I've received a couple this week that have just been very heartwarming, and I just really wish you the best. And it's so amazing that everything that we're taught about plants being healthy for us, vitamins being good for us, fat is bad for us, and that you should eat so many fruits and vegetables. I was the poster child for having 8 fruits and veggies eaten every day. I'd eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, you bet. And I was so sick. and there'd be times when I couldn't walk. And I have not had days like that since going low salicylate, and I'm very grateful for that. So, like, I'm not saying that everybody should stop eating fruits and vegetables. I'm saying that there's probably a good percentage of the population who are not benefiting from fruits and vegetables and from salicylates. There's other ways to get nutrients, and I encourage people to give it a try, especially if they've been struggling for a long time with weird stomach stuff or migraines or muscle spasms or breathing problems. Just give it a try. It might be worth it. And the best thing, it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to leave your house. It doesn't cost anything. Like, it's not a harmful diet. Like, you just need to try it. Give it a try 1 to 2 weeks. Your mind might be blown. And the fourth thing that I have, so this is more of my recent one, and it is that cardio doesn't really do my body good. As much as I love getting up early in the morning and going for a run or going for a swim or exercising when I could be doing other things, I have been a lover of cardio my entire life. I swam from 5th grade to high school, 2 to 4 hours a day. I've done extensive running and hiking, and if you do that so many hours in a week, it really does become a muscle building activity. But in general, cardio has always been my go-to. And in the last 10 years, so I'm 39. So in the last 9 years, I've had a really hard time with weight management. And of course, when you're sick and you're not feeling well, it's really hard to concentrate on other things like exercising and just moving around and watching your weight and that kind of thing. So this year, given the fact that I got to work every day from my house or from my parents' house, we spent a lot of time at my parents' house, I didn't do very much hiking. I didn't get to see very many of my friends. I did get to go to the pool like maybe 7 or 8 times for the year, but that was about it. This year, I have only done strength building exercises, push-ups. I'm working on my pull-up, squats, Cossack squats, stretching, just all sorts of bodybuilding type exercises that I can do from my home. And it's been amazing to watch how my body has changed, both building muscle, both slimming down. I do have to say that if you're going to do any type of exercise, really focus on, first of all, walking is a really good one. And I understand that goes under cardio, but if you don't walk, start walking. But if you can do some sit-ups and push-ups and whatever kind of muscle building activity you can fit in, focus on those. And there's one more reason why I stopped doing cardio. Last year, and even earlier this year, January, I remember going for a run with my husband. I was like, I want to start running. Every single time I start running, I literally break out into hives. If I run and then eat, I break into hives or I get a stomach ache. Every single time, with the exception of the pool, I just end up breaking out into hives. I'm very allergic to grasses and other plants, and those are true allergies, not related to food. But that really bumps up my allergic reaction, and I've had swollen eyes and the whole works. So I started working with a coach this year, and I said I need help to decide on a routine. So these were my rules. I didn't make any weight loss goals. I worked on a couple of things. First, the flabby arms. I also have an under boob roll that needs to go away. And besides that, the rest of the stuff has all been like, I want to do this many push-ups, or I want to do a pull-up, or in the future, I might work on a handstand or the splits, right? So I have these goals of things that I can do. Those are my goals. Rather than saying I want to lose 15 pounds, because I'm a decent weight. I'd be okay if I was at this weight for the rest of my life, especially if I was this weight and more muscular. So I don't really have any stipulations on weight for myself, but I had some rules, and that was I don't want to do extensive sit-ups every single day. I felt like it puts a lot of strain on my back, and so I just said that those were off the table. I didn't want to do any jumping, no burpees, no jumping jacks, and I didn't want to do any HIIT or any HIIT workouts, you know, no high intensity training, and most importantly, I don't want to sweat. I want to be able to work out in my everyday office clothes. I want to be able to just go down and, you know, do, you know, 15, you know, halfway pull-ups, you know, if I want to, you know, while I'm waiting for my clothes to dry. Like, I just wanted to keep it really simple, and it's been a really great way to work fitness into my everyday life. I'm going to tell you that strength building beats cardio. If you're not doing anything, do strength building. And those are my 4 paradigm shifts for the last 4 years. Let me know if you've had some paradigm shifts that maybe we could benefit from learning about. I'm always curious to learn from you. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can fill out, some of you guys don't like Instagram, and that's totally fine. You can go to my website, low-sal-life.com. There's a contact form in the About page, and you can just email me through that. And for the rest of you guys, find me on Instagram at low-sal-life, and I will see you next week. Thanks.